If you've ever been to a Van Halen concert, you know that's how every Van Halen concert starts, with the 2-snare hit. Hey, what's up guys? It's Jeremy White. Today I'm going to be showing you the Alex Van Halen Signature Snare Drum from Ludwig. I'm yet to find a good video on YouTube kind of showing this off and showing you the tones and the sounds of it. So I finally decided to break it out of its road case, get it on a stand. I replaced the Van Halen signature head that was on this with a regular controlled sound coated head from Remo. On the bottom it's the same thing. It's got a clear ambassador snare side. And just going to show off this snare. So this snare is basically, it's a Ludwig LM402 that was customized by Alex's drum tech John Douglas. And he basically took a grinder to the shell and made this really cool looking finish. And it's got die-cast hoops that are finished in this bronze sort of hardware with the tube lug. It's got a Millennium throw-off, 40-some strand snare wire on it, and it's pretty amazing. You couldn't actually buy this snare until they announced the signature snare, right? So originally they announced 100, and my buddy at Steve's Music, Brian, rest in peace, buddy, called me out of the blue. He's like, dude, in a couple of days at NAMM, they're announcing Alex's new signature snare drum. You want one, right? I'm like, yes. Of course. So he got me one. They sold out immediately, and then they announced another 100. So I believe there's 200 of these in the world. It's autographed by Alex inside. You get this really cool custom road case with the Alex Van Halen badge on it, as well as on the snare. And it's great. But I wanted this type of sound without having the signature snare. So I ended up buying this one, and it's exactly what this snare is. It's an LM402 with the tube lugs, die-cast hoops, Millennium throw-off, 42-strand snare wire. I think it's 40 or 42, one of them. But so I'm going to show you the different kind of tones between them. There's really not much difference, but it really is all about the tuning and the attack if you want that Alex Van Halen sound. I saw Rick Beato's video where he was trying to recreate the snare tone. He was using like All Wait, like the '84 record. My buddy Adam Hamilton and I are like obsessed with Al's snare drum sound. And we've been going back and forth the last couple of weeks, like looking at old interviews. Modern Drummer just put out a new book featuring all of Al's kits. He was using a rosewood snare for quite some time, and then later on, you know, around like Balance and For Unlawful Chronology, he went to a Supraphonic snare. Some of them are really deep, like an 8.5. This is a simple 6.5 by 14 that you can just buy in the store. And it's not muted at all. I don't have a moon gel on this. There's no gaff tape on the head. Like, there's nothing going on. This is straight up just tuned. And now here's how it sounds, just to check it out. Now it's got that Alex Van Halen sound, right? Especially if you've ever been to a Van Halen concert, you know that's how every Van Halen concert starts, with the 2-snare hit. So, I want to talk about the tuning a little bit. On the bottom of the snare, it's got the ambassador snare side, okay? And it's tuned fairly high. Like, if you just have a listen to this, check this out. Now, the snare side really makes a huge difference. Like, if I lower it just this tip, like I'm gonna lower it like a quarter of a turn on each lug, and it really makes a big difference on the tone, I find, because if you listen to audio of the 2015 tour, Al's snare isn't tuned all that high. You know, there's some board tape from the final show, and Adam and I went back and forth, and he's like, dude, it sounds like his snare sounds tuned low. And even if you go listen to the Ludwig video where they're showing off Al's kit from that tour, the snare doesn't sound all that high. So here it is, just half a turn on each lug. Okay. Throw back on the snare, and also the snare wires aren't super tight either. They're kind of loose. Like you can sort of hear them, you know. So now let me lower the top head a little bit. actually sounds kind of good right there. Sounds pretty good, right? Let me tune it a little lower. How about that? And you notice the big difference when I'm hitting that rim or not, right? Like, if you just hit the center, it's... But if you hit that rim shot... That's the tone. It really is that rim shot. Like right there. You really got to get that rim. And I saw a photo from the 2008 tour where Al, it was like a back shot behind the kit. And Al was like holding his stick like this. Like not like right down here. It's sort of there. So if I try and do that. It's Van Halen, right? Listen, I'm no Buddy Rich. What do you want from me? It's Van Halen-y. I'm gonna pitch it back up, and because everybody thinks that this Al's snare is usually like it's like really, really tight, but as you can hear, it's kind of low tuned, you know? And it's got that doom, doom, doom kind of. What if I put it lower? That sounds kind of good, right? Really nice deep snare. Now the thing is that the snare sounds different in the room compared to what the 57 is going to sound like once I mix this in post. And so what you're hearing, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm going to have to wait and see, but in the room it sounds awesome. Okay, let's pitch it up now. Check it out. I'm going to go basically a full turn. So that's pretty tuned up. So now, let me tune up the bottom head, and I'm going to leave this one the way it is. But we'll see if the bottom head going a little higher has more of an impact on the tone, which it will, but I remember when I took off the original Van Halen branded heads that were on here, the bottom head was very loose. It wasn't tight at all. So... And I never played it straight off the box because I didn't want to mess up my Van Halen head, you know? Right? It's a collector's item. I know you guys are laughing at the way I'm tuning this, but I'm not trying to be scientific. It really is just about ear tuning these drums, because you tune it till it's right. There's no correct way to do it. There's no incorrect way to do it. The incorrect way is when it sounds like shit. You know? Okay. Let's try this out. All right. Here we go. How's that sound? And once again, really hitting that rim shot to get that, you know. Holding the stick there. Let me tighten up the snares a little bit. That sounds like the sweet spot. It's like down here a little bit. Some say money's bad for the soul! Anyway, so yeah, that's the Ludwig Alex Van Halen signature snare. Does it sound like Van Halen? I'm not Alex Van Halen, but it's a good idea of what the snare sounds like. So there you go. Make sure you like and subscribe, and hit me up for more Van Halen related content.